Good day. My name is Ntobeko and I'm here with.
Diketso
Today we're going to hold a podcast focusing on William Shakespeare play, which is The Tempest. It's actually quite an interesting play, as you can see from the very first act, whereby Prospero uses his power to control the nature. He actually took over the Iceland from the original inhabitant, who is Calaban, and he uses magic to force him into slavery. You also seek revenge from his brother who betrayed him, and in doing that, he thought taking over the Iceland might be the rightful way to do so. What do you actually think about the play?
From my own understanding, I think that Shakespeare's play The Tempest is a nice and interesting play because he was able to cover all the aspects and all the characters truly reveal themselves, from Prospero showing us his magic and how his anger started when Antonio, his brother, betrayed him, and to the end where he was able to forgive him, and to Tranquillo and his friend tricking Caliban into thinking that they can overpower Prospero and drive him off the island. And I think all of those events help me understand the play more, and I found it interesting, and I think my partner and I will also delve into what actually transpired in the play.
I think this play is interesting play from the start to the end. So what happened in the play? The play tells us more about Prospero's power. Prospero shows his power in a lot of events in the play. Prospero is a man who has been wronged and betrayed by a lot of people, especially his own blood, Antonio. So he tries to regain his power, which is the throne of Duke of Milan, yes. And then also he tries to regain revenge from his enemies such as Alonso and Antonio. So I think this play is just an analysis of how the need of power can lead you to conflicts and also revenge and betrayals, but it also tells us that at the end forgiveness and reconciliation always takes place.
Oh, thank you very much. So today we're going to explore The Tempest by William Shakespeare, focusing on two major themes, which are power and control, then betrayal and reconciliation. Shakespeare plays dives into complex human experience and how people use power, how betrayal shapes relationships, and how forgiveness can restore the balance. Firstly, let's begin with power and with the theme of power and control. At the center of The Tempest, it is Prospero, who is the rightful owner of the Duke of Milan, and he controls the island using his magic. He manipulates events and characters to serve his plan to get revenge from his brother Antonio, who took over his Duke of Milan. Prospero authority over Ariel, who is a spirit, and Calaban, who is the original inhabitant of the Iceland, shows different forms of domination. Firstly, Ariel obeys Prospero but longs for freedom, while Calaban resists Prospero's control. Calaban's rebellion is very important in the play, as he was the rightful owner of as he was the rightful inhabitant for the island. Despite Prospero magical control over Calaban, he continuously resists to be controlled by Prospero. I think this shows that even though people are unfairly controlled, they can still seek for freedom. What do you think about the theme of power and control?
I think under the theme of power and control, we see the power as a theme being circulating around the play. So in the play, Prospero is the one who was holding power, and then he's using his power to manipulate other characters. So he was removed from the throne of Duke of Milan by his brother, who is Antonio, with the help of Alonso. In Act 1, Scene 1, what we have seen, and I've already mentioned it, is that Prospero used his power to cause storm in the ship, so that he can frighten his enemies that were in the ship, which are Alonso and Antonio. So we also see again in as the play carries on that he was controlling his spirits, which is Ariel, and then another character was Caliban. So we can say that Prospero has power to control supernatural beings.
Sifiso, what do you think about the power, the theme of power and control in regards to the play, which is The Tempest?
I can say that everyone in this play has power, but I would like to dwell most on Prospero, who is the main character. So Prospero has power because we can see that he uses a magic stick, which he controls the weather, and by the help of his minion Ariel. And in Act 1, Scene 1, we can see that he summons his spirit Ariel to go and cause havoc in the ship that was carrying Antonio, his brother, and Alonso, who is the king of Naples. And all of that power, we can see that he sometimes misuses it because of his motions, as he was betrayed by his brother for the throne of being the Duke of Milan. And as the story proceeds, we can see that he further on continues to use his power when Ariel needs to be set free, and instead of setting him free, he goes on and tells him that in order for him to set him free, there are still a couple of things that he needs to do and work for his freedom. And as the story proceeds, we can see that as the king of Naples, Alonso, his brother Antonio, and the son of the king of Naples, which is Ferdinand, arrive on shore. They all split, and Antonio, his brother, and Gonzalo and Alonso go on a search to find Ferdinand. But the search takes long, as we can see that Prospero also uses Ariel to cause an illusion whereby Alonso and his crew go thinking that they were going to make it, but at the end they get trapped in a spell that Prospero has set for them. And to connect all the dots together with the South African political system, we can see that the majority, or the party that has all the power, which is in this case ANC, controls all the power, and the people, although the people know that the ANC keeps on promising them jobs, free education, stuff like that, but because the people don't have power, the ANC continues to take advantage of them, calling them, urging them to vote for them, while knowing very well that they will not get everything that they have been promised. So I think my partners will also elaborate on how power and control in this context dwells in with the South African political system.
So yeah, I think the theme of power and control in the play, which is The Tempest, links to the modern day situation. For instance, let's take a close look in 2019 to 2020, whereby we had a pandemic, which was Corona. During Corona pandemic, we actually had no say in what the government has to decide. If you can closely observe, during those times, they could impose lockdown to us, and we had no any card to play in opposing them.
Okay. I think that to link this theme of power and control with the reality. In early, I think it was February, Cyril Ramaphosa, which is our president, released the SONA, which is the state of national address. Ne? So in his SONA, he mentioned something about provision of houses and RDP services. But if we can look back in years, he's been promising us these houses and RDPs, but yet he fails to provide them to the people. So what I can say that is that Cyril Ramaphosa and the ANC as a whole, they are misusing their power, because during campaigns they're promising us things that they cannot even provide. So
yes, I also think that power and control, if a person has power, they are able to control the nation, such as money. You can say that the people of today that have money are able to control the system. For example, for another example is Rupert. Rupert has all the money, so he funds all these political parties, and in return those political parties bamboos for him and his companies whenever, maybe let's say for pollution, for example, let's say he pollutes. So if his company pollutes, he won't be able to be held liable because they know that they're under his pocket. So I believe that having power should be given to someone who is considerate, and in this case we can say that Prospero found peace at the end and was able to give back all the power and the freedom to everyone that he was exploiting throughout the play.
Okay. The second major theme is the theme of betrayal and reconciliation. One of the biggest betrayal in the play is when Antonio betrayed his brother, who is Prospero. Driven by ambition, Antonio betrayed Prospero and forced them into exile. This act set the entire story on motion and fuels Prospero anger in desire for revenge. What do you think about the theme of betrayal and reconciliation?
I think that the theme of betrayal and reconciliation plays a vital role in this instance, because we can say that everything that Prospero was doing from the first act was because of anger. You see, because his brother Antonio betrayed him. I think for everyone, and I speak for everyone when I say being betrayed by someone that is close to you, like your brother, it takes a huge toll on your heart. So I believe that everything that he did was of anger, and and 12 years is a lot. You know, imagine growing up in a place and being kicked out. You see, or you'll also feel angry. So I kind of understand Prospero's anger towards his brother and the King of Naples for just, sidelining him. And I also believe that although Prospero was betrayed, he's also not the saint or perfect, because he also took Caliban's land, because Caliban was kind, and that he saw that he can overpower him with his power. And in doing that, Caliban throughout the years has been resisting, fighting, in hopes that he will get his land back. But I think there was no avail until at the end, where Prospero met with his brother and the King of Naples. It was then that he was able to gain back his land.
Okay. To add on that, I think that the theme of betrayal is the driving force, and also it motivates the action of people, or maybe I can say the characters in this play. What I have realized is that the betrayal in this play happens between people who are supposed to be trusting each other, especially family and friends. So firstly, we saw betrayal that I've already mentioned, or we have mentioned before, that Antonio, which is brother of Prospero, have betrayed Prospero with the help of Alonso. So we also saw another betrayal in the play. I think it was Act to scene 1 where Sebastian, is it Sebastian?
Sebastian, I think.
Sebastian, where Sebastian betrays his own brother Alonso. He have he have planned to kill his own brother, and then this teaches us that the betrayal break relationship and trust amongst people who are close to each other.
Yeah, I think that's a fact. Betrayal break trust in people who are friends, maybe even brothers, even siblings in general. What I noticed is that obviously when reconciliation has to occur, it had to have betrayal. In this instance of the play, which is the Tempest, we can see that after betrayal of Antonio betraying his brother, who's Prospero, Antonio managed to forgive. Prospero managed to forgive Antonio, which shows that actually reconciliation do exist. After someone has did someone wrong, they also get a chance of redemption.
Yes. To also add on that, I think Miranda and Fannynet relationship also plays a huge role in Prospero and his brother and the King of Naples Alonso reconciliation, because we can see that Alonso saw that Fannynet and her daughter loved one another, so in doing that he also gave them their blessing. And because one blessing is not enough, he realized that he also needed the King of Naples to come and give their children the blessings. And I think that also played a huge role, which I think a lot of people didn't realize, but I think those two relationships amended the two families, and everything that was done to one another, they left in the past.
And how do you think it adds to the life in general? This theme, how does it add to life in general? The theme of betrayal and reconciliation.
I think I will use this as an example to the South African context, right? As we know that apartheid began in the 1948, right, under the National Party. So when the National Party came into power, what they wanted to do is to prove that white people were superior than other races, right? So in doing that, they enforced Afrikaans in schools, and which wasn't a success, as students marched in 1976 in Soweto. So all those things combined, and there was a commission that was held, if I remember, the TRC, whereby everything the white people that did our African brothers wrong came to the TRC, explained why they did all the things that they did, and then forgiveness was was pardoned to those that showed remorse, and those that didn't, they were excluded. And I think that also helped us as a country to step back from racism and stuff like that, to building a rainbow nation that we are today. Although in some parts of the country it doesn't feel like we gained our freedom, but I think as a country we are stepping in the right direction. I don't know about you and your views.
Well, evidently in the Tempest, I think it shows that I think Shakespeare was successful in showing that even if someone has betrayed you, it's possible to forgive the specific person and give him a chance to redeem himself or herself.
I think that in reality, this theme of betrayal and forgiveness, as Sifiso has mentioned, is that today, like we see the result of reconciliation, because during apartheid there were acts that were limiting black people to participate in certain things, such as Group Areas Act, where black Africans were divided in regions according to their race. So today such things are not happening anymore. I think that Shakespeare have managed to highlight this. Highlight what? I think I think Shakespeare has managed to highlight this theme of betrayal and reconciliation, because in reality,
To also add on what my colleagues, what my fellow hosts and I have said, and we can also see from the play, The Tempest, that Ariel was abused throughout the play. He was abused by Prospero, being taken advantage of. But at the end, when he was given freedom, he was very much thankful and was joyful to prove that everything has its time, and he truly appreciated the reconciliation, and he was free at the end. So I think, regardless of how someone treats you, and I think for me it's a lesson that even if someone steps on my toes, I think one day I'll be able to forgive them, because we don't know why people do the certain things that they do.
Yeah, in connecting the two themes, I think betrayal happens because of the desire for power. If you can see, Antonio betrayed Prospero because he desired power. The very same betrayal led to the opportunity. Created the opportunity for reconciliation, for forgiveness and reconciliation. So yeah, in conclusion, we can say the two themes shape the relationships between the characters. For instance, between Prospero and Ariel and Calaban.
To also sum up, I think we all raised some factual points, and I believe that Shakespeare deserves all the recognition that he gets today, because all his plays, poems have a certain message, and I think the message of The Tempest is just forgiveness, because we can see that from the beginning Prospero was wrong, betrayed, and in the middle of the play we can see that he also did some betraying and stuff, but at the end forgiveness is essential to everyone.
Thank you very much.